Hello and welcome to Hollie's Hot Takes, the show where we get you, the members, to come on and say your piece. And I am co-hosting it with Wes once again. Wes, how are you today on this fine Wednesday evening?
Yeah, all right. Sorry, just got to drink some more Liverpool tears. Sorry, but yeah, no, all good, all good. Yeah, still buzzing from the weekend, which again is just a new thing, I think, for many Spurs fans, because it has been so long since we have been in a really, really good mood and in a really good place. I think not only as a team, but as a football club in general. But yeah, no, looking forward to delving into another show, and I'm back on co-hosting duties. I enjoyed last week, so yeah, thanks for having me back.
No worries. You did a great job. So that's why I've pulled you back in. But we've also got lots of people that are already in the chat as well. So welcome, everyone. We're already talking about the teary man himself, Mr. Klopp, and the fact that there's a lot of salty fans out in the mix. Wes, before we kind of delve into the football and the fact that we obviously won the game, there's a lot of controversy that went on. Maybe we should start with the offside, because I think that's the thing that's doing the rounds at the moment, and the fact that Liverpool want a replay. So out of all of that, what's your take on it?
Was there actually a game of football at the weekend? Feels like so much else has happened, and it's only Wednesday. But yeah, I think, look, Liverpool fans, I think, rightly are aggrieved with the Diaz goal being, obviously being flagged for offside. It's turned out that it wasn't the case. But obviously, I was obviously at the game, and when you're in the stadium and you're seeing the offside, obviously Liverpool fans got mental when Diaz scored, and then it was like, oh, flags up, and we've all given it like kind of thing. So you kind of thought like, well, he was offside. That was the thing in the ground. It wasn't until much later on in the evening, and even probably going into Sunday, that, you know, for me, that I found out that actually there was a mistake with it, and sort of listening to the audio, as I'm sure a lot of people have. It's, you know, it's human error. Even VAR technology, it's people operating it. They're still human, and there's going to be human error within it. So yeah, I can see why Liverpool fans are aggrieved at that decision, because it's quite clearly onside. I mean, he took the goal really, really well, Luis Diaz, I have to say. Probably one of the first times I think we can say under Ange that defensively we looked not at our best, and we looked a little bit shaky in that moment, and we got done, because I think actually on the whole, defensively as a unit, we've looked relatively strong. So like I say, I can see why Liverpool fans are annoyed at that decision. I think the aftermath of it is outrageous. It's absolutely ludicrous. Calls for replays, all of this, absolute nonsense, by the way. I don't know where Liverpool fans and Liverpool Football Club are getting off on this thing of demanding a replay. And like I say, there's one thing, and I think this person here, Chris, has summed it up brilliantly. You know, there's one thing to be upset from a bad call, but obviously the abuse to your doggy, which don't condone it at all, and other fans, rather than the people who have made the call, is poor from Liverpool fans. But I've got a good mate of mine who's a Liverpool fan, and been kind of digging at him a little bit, because we've finally beaten Liverpool for a change. He's the first to say it to me when they beat us, so I've been giving it a little bit back. And now because Liverpool lost, it's like, oh, you lot celebrating like you won something. Well, no, we've broke the curse. Like, finally we had a bit of good luck and a bit of good fortune. So I think Liverpool have used it all up against us, and obviously on this occasion it's gone against them. But I can see why they are a little bit annoyed and frustrated with the Diaz decision in particular.
No, I think you're right. And I think the thing is, when it all kind of happened, like you say, I think as much as Liverpool asking to hear the audio, I also don't know what it achieves, if that makes sense. It shows that, I mean, listening to it was, oh my word, it literally sounded like I was in a chat with my mates, rather than being a professional outfit deciding whether it was onside or offside. I mean, for you, what do they need to change going forward? Is it bringing the automated offsides? But then there's lots of people saying, but they've still got to tell the refs whether it's offside or not. So how do you kind of bridge that gap?
I don't know whether it's now down to, and I think it should have been the case probably anyway when VAR first came in, but having just specialists, like VAR specialists, that is literally all they do. They are tunnel vision, if you like. VAR, that's all they do. Instead of having referees that are refereeing a game on Saturday and then Sunday they're either fourth official, VAR, that kind of thing. So I think definitely going down that more specialist route, I think would help. The semi-automated system, like we saw in the World Cup, I thought was good. And obviously we see it in European competitions as well, such as Champions League. Again, I think that works because it's a bit more clear cut. I think with the lines being drawn, I was having this discussion with somebody yesterday, I think, or Monday. Yeah, I think that the lines that are drawn can be really, really subjective because of the angle in which you're looking at it from. And I think we saw that in particular with the Garnacho incident at the Emirates earlier on in the season. So I definitely think that semi-automated system could work. It had a lot of success in the World Cup. I also think the Women's World Cup, in terms of the referees being mic'd up and explaining almost what the decision is, I think that would be good. But at the same time, I'm a fan in the stadium. All I know is a VAR check's happening, and it might be for offside. I don't know what the ins and outs of it are in the ground. Whereas if you're a fan at home, you get exposed to a little bit more because, for example, Sky Sports have got the capabilities and the technology to, show fans that, whereas a paying fan is a little bit out of the loop. So to keep the fans involved, those that are in the stadium, I think would be a good way forward as well. Again, whether that's the referees explaining the decisions afterwards, or everything else. But yeah, I think those three things I would say. So the semi-automated system being one, referees mic'd up to explain the decision to, and maybe having specialist VAR people at Stockley Park delivering on VAR across the different games, obviously in the Premier League. I think those are probably the three key things for me that would enable VAR to be better, because I think the actual VAR, like what it's for, is good, and it's good for football. It's finally like we have something to help, but it's still too subjective because it's still down to, and you're going to get it, as I mentioned earlier, it's still down to human interpretation. Like what, for a red card, for example, what I deem as a red card, you might not at the same time. It's still a little bit subjective, and I think that's why I think we're seeing a little bit more referees now on the pitch going towards the monitors, and then it's down to them what they decide off the back of it.
I think that's the thing, like you said, if we have dedicated VAR specialists, at least it's their idea every time, rather than it being a different mix of, oh no, this week it's this guy who thinks it's this, next week it's a different. I kind of get that in that kind of sense. That probably would be a good way to go forward. It's just mad how it's absolutely exploded. And I get that to an extent, maybe it's a good thing that there's created this much noise, because it means they have to look at it. I just think it's the way it's then seen in the media of it's Liverpool again. They feel like they're hard done by. And I think that's the thing that winds everyone up. But there was a football game as well, Wes. I mean, the goals that we did score, barring Matip's, it was a good cross from Pedro Porro, but Sonny's goal once again, how good is he at the mo?
I think that first goal was just really, really well worked, finding Maddison in the pocket. And you just know he's got that eye for a pass. Absolutely defence splitting pass, getting Richie in. And who was I listening to the other day when they mentioned, I think it was Clive Allen potentially, about Richarlison, and saying his best work is off that left-hand side. The runs that he makes, those out to in runs. And I think we saw that massively for the first goal. Nice little out to in run. Played in by Madders, and it was a little bit unselfish play, I think, from Richarlison, because you've seen a lot of times wingers in that position. I've probably been guilty of it myself, having played out there once upon a time, where you've got that little bit of space, you're going to drive into it. Whereas Richarlison pretty much straight away saw that Son was in a better position, laid it on an absolute full Nando's meal platter with extra hot sauce for him. And Sonny at the moment, the form he's in, he was never really going to miss that. So yeah, I think that first goal was just really, really well worked. But yeah, I think as the game went on, we definitely struggled, especially when Liverpool went down to 9. It was almost like watching Spurs of old, where it's like, right, and I mean, look, you're down to 9 men as the opposition, you're gonna practically put a massive double decker in front of your goal and protect your 18-yard box, and I fully get that and I fully understand it, because I would probably do the same thing as well. But from our point of view, it was just like we ran out of ideas. And it was just like going down one side, no, that didn't work, come back, go down the other side, no, that didn't work, and all you're doing is just shuffling Liverpool side to side, and they were really happy with that. But I think their distances between defence and midfield were really tight and compact, which is to be expected. But then it's down to us to make the most of the 2 extra players that we've got on the pitch, try and create overloads, especially in the wider areas, and even get players into like the little half spaces, whether that is a Maddison or whether that's pushing Sarr on a little bit further forward. So yeah, I think, like I say, we ran out of ideas a little bit when Liverpool went down to 9. But yeah, just going back to that first goal, it was lovely, lovely football.
I think you're right, and I think it's good you've mentioned obviously the fact that we looked like worse when we went down to our 9 men. I mean, how does Ange kind of get over that? Because obviously with our football, it's kind of like, let's go down the wings, let's go through the middle and exploit the gaps in the middle rather than going out on the wide. Is that something maybe that Ange needs to adapt, or do you think it was just one of those games, it's a freak incident where we're down to 9 sort of thing?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I think there's not going to be many games where your opponent's down to 9 men, so that is a bit of a freak in that respect. I don't think Ange is going to change the way he plays. His football, playing style, I don't think that's going to change. So I guess we just have to roll with it. But I think it's a bit more responsibility on the players in that sense. It's like Ange will just give him the framework, and it's down to the players then to produce within that framework. Like I said, it was more a case of trying to get Maddison and whether that was Sarr or Basuma playing really high up, because there was times we were trying to counter attack, and I think somebody that was sitting in and around me was saying, like, why isn't Basuma like busting a gut to try and create that extra body? And he was actually calling for Basuma to be substituted. I don't think he was very complimentary of Basuma. So yeah, like I say, it's about when you are in those situations, it is definitely using those half spaces to create and try and find somebody in that pocket to receive on the half turn, which Maddison is absolutely brilliant at. And then he can try and feed the likes of the front three, whether that is Richarlison, Solomon, Son, Kulu, Brennan Johnson when he comes back into the fold. So yeah, it's a little bit of a freak, like I say, because you can plan for scenarios like in training, but that's usually with 1 player less. To have 2, it's a little bit of a freak. But yeah, I just felt like we needed to push and really turn the screw a little bit more, and sort of force the issue in a good way to then get us over the line. I mean, we got there in the end, but yeah, it was a bit of a tough watch, I think, for a good sort of 10-15 minutes.
It kind of gave me, it wasn't the same stress levels as the Arsenal game, but it was kind of the same vibe, as in my heart was in my mouth the entire time. And like you say, we managed to get the 3 points. Okay, yeah, it kind of worked in our favour, but it is what it is. I just want to say to everyone, if you are a member, I have put the link in the members chat. So if you want to jump on, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to keep chatting to Wes, though. Wes, if you've got a question for me, go for it while we wait for some people to jump in. So I'll let you think of one before you ask me one. I'm going to bring Chris's thing up, saying about Pedro Porro. Now, I think Porro, has been going under the radar a little bit. I can't remember if we spoke about this last week. We might have done. But again, against Liverpool, especially when he obviously crossed the ball and it hit Matip's foot and went in, he has been class, and I think he's gone unnoticed. Yeah, no, definitely. I think because we are loving the fact that the new signings or players that have come in back off loan, for example, like your doggy, have come in and really hit the ground running. I think players like
Romero, Porro have really gone like under the radar. I think Cootie again was his solid self. He's a bit too tame at the minute though, Cootie. He knows he's going to absolutely clart somebody soon and put them in Rose's head. You're just waiting for it. I'm hoping it's Haaland 10 yards inside City's half again, like he did last season, because that would be brilliant. But no, I think Porro has really made that almost right back spot his own. I think there was a bit of talk of potentially who is our best right back, whether that's Emerson Royale, Porro, Jed Spence. Was he even worth a shot? I know there was a lot of talk of that in pre-season, but I think Porro has really taken to it and taken to the fact that Ange wants him inverted and playing in the middle, which isn't easy to do when you're not overly used to it. It can take a lot of time, but actually I think his quality on the ball has gone unnoticed, and actually he's really helping us when we're trying to build through the pitch. And I think the timing in which he goes in is quite good as well between him and your doggy. They're not overcrowding the midfield when we don't need to. And actually, I think defensively, Porro's improved as well. There was a good few recovery tackles and recovery runs in there on Saturday. So yeah, props to Pedro Porro is what I'll say.
Oh, definitely. I just choked on thin air then. No, I think you're right, Wes. I think there's a lot of people that are now clocking onto the idea that Pedro Porro is performing well. Obviously, we do have Luton at the weekend. Now, do I ask the question? Are you going to the game? Have you managed to get a ticket for this one? Or is it too soon?
I haven't.
Oh no!
I am absolutely raging because this is, for me, being a Milton Keynes, Luton is about an hour away maximum. So this was the closest away day without it being MK Dons that I could have possibly have got to. And I'm unfortunately was one of the unlucky ones to be unsuccessful in getting a ticket. Yeah, like I say, I'm really, really gutted because I have a few friends, somebody I used to play football with, home and away Luton, right the way from like when I was growing up, you know, National League right the way up. They were at Wembley in the playoff final. And yeah, there's a few other people that I know who are big Luton fans. So I was hoping to meet up with them and catch up with them as well. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going, which is a real shame because it's the only away day I could have worked in the morning, come back and still made kickoff, even though kickoff is a lunchtime. It's a lunchtime game, 12:30. So yeah, really, really gutted. So I will be watching from my telly box on Saturday lunchtime.
Oh man, I should have asked, should I? I feel like I've jinxed it. But how are you kind of feeling? Obviously, you're not going to the game, but how are you looking? Are you looking forward to this one? Is this one that we definitely should be winning?
Yeah, but it's Tottenham, isn't it? Like everybody knows and everybody is waiting. The memes are so saved in everybody's draft because it would be typical Tottenham to beat Liverpool, draw with Arsenal, beat Man United, and get turned over by Luton at Kenny. It would just be so Tottenham to do it. I think even Madders though mentioned it. It might have been after the Liverpool game where he said about this whole Spursy tag, and I think people are seeing that different side to us. But listen, Kenilworth Road's going to be rocking. It's a tight pitch. Crowd is literally. I don't think you can get any more on top of the players. And I think I've said this about Luton before when I've watched them. It's like if Luton are direct. And they just almost a bit like throwback Pulis, Stoke days, cold Tuesday night away at Stoke, all of that kind of stuff, right? If they just try and literally just camped in our half, I have a feeling we might actually struggle. They may not have the quality, but it's just something different and a different way of playing that we're not necessarily used to. So we might struggle with that. And I think if Luton did do that, they'd actually find quite a lot of success from it because they've got two fairly big lads up top in Adebayo and Morris who feed off of each other. They've got Barkley who can add a bit of creativity and, you know, he can create something out of nothing. You've got Chong, who's also quite a creative player as well. So I think from a Luton perspective, if they try and play through and effectively play football, throughout the pitch, I think they'll struggle because no doubt our quality should shine through. Whether it does or not, I don't know. I don't know what the state of the Luton pitch is going to be like after the game last night. But yeah, if they try and play, they may come unstuck. Whereas if they go the opposite way and just go, do you know what, sod it, let's just clip it and clip it and clip it every single time. Then we might struggle with that, because all of a sudden the crowd there could really get behind them, and all it takes is a couple of corners in the first 10 minutes, and like I say, crowd getting behind them, and yeah, I think, like I say, we might struggle with that. So that's how I kind of see it. Listen, I'm hoping for a win, but I know the memes are ready for a 1-0 Luton win.
Oh yeah, can you imagine it? I mean, Chris, like obviously with their form and stuff, I think didn't they beat Everton or something a couple of weeks ago? Or so in form wise, at least we're not going to be the meme of we're the first club to get beaten by them. So at least that one's out the window. But on form wise, that they're not great. But like you said, that's the Spurs way for Dr. Tottenham to bow its head, and we haven't seen it yet. And like you say, playing Liverpool and then going to Luton away, I just couldn't be able to bear it if we then lose against them, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, like I say, I think we should be going into this game full of confidence. But I think Ange will not let the players' mentality drop in the sense of, oh, it's Luton. It's not going to be a case of we've turned up and the game's won. I don't think Ange is like that as a manager. So, he has this famous saying at Celtic of, we never stop. Or if we do, we stop at half time and we stop at full time to celebrate. That is it. And I think potentially that's starting to transmit into our players and into the team, because you look at the last two games, obviously winning it late, but having that determination to push and try and get the 3 points really late on. I think it's definitely come from Ange and his coaching staff. So yeah, again, fair play to them, and we are reaping the rewards.
Definitely. And I think one of the questions I want to ask you, because obviously Richarlison, like you've already mentioned, played really well on the left at the weekend. Is that where you see him playing this game as well, do you think?
I think it depends on Son's injury, I have to say. If Sonny is fit, I half expect the same team that started against Liverpool. Hearing news today that Solomon could be out for a couple of months is a bit of a killer. But maybe Brennan Johnson's back, because Ange did say his injury wasn't that serious. So it would almost be a like for like kind of on the bench. But again, to have an option like Brennan Johnson to come off the bench, I think is wicked. He looked really, really lively, I have to say, against Arsenal. Even though he should have scored. Yeah, he did look pretty decent. So and again, another young player that comes in but actually has got quite a bit of experience, played a lot of games for Forest, played for Wales as well, so he's used to playing in certainly some bigger games, if you like, and playing on an international stage. So yeah, if Sonny's fit, I expect the same team that played against Liverpool. If not, then I would assume Johnson coming in, and maybe playing from the left and Richie through the middle, or who knows, he might even give the young lad Velis Navidad a go through the middle, because I know he did come on towards the end of the game against Liverpool. Ran about a little bit. I don't actually think he touched the ball. If he did, it was like maybe once or twice. But he's an absolute size. So, again, that might be a game where he comes in and shows what he can do against a side like Luton, who are probably going to feed off of set pieces. So actually his height, from set pieces might be a key and a good weapon for us.
I think you made a good point about Navidad, in a sense, because I kind of forgot that he did come on late on. He could be, especially if he's coming into the Prem this early on, it does make you think, what has he got over the likes of Dane Scarlett, and obviously his name's left me now. It was at MK for, pardon?
Troy Parrott.
That's the one. Like, what is he? What does he have that's different to that? Or is it purely because it's Ange? Ange is trying something different.
If I look at all three in isolation, I think Scarlett I reckon Dane Scarlett will actually end up like in a similar way to Marcus Rashford, in the sense that I see Dane Scarlett coming in off the left and playing off the left. He actually reminds me a lot of Rashford in terms of how quick he is off the mark, and I think his pace, certainly in a wider area, will probably be more of a benefit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the days of those types of strikers are dying out in the modern game. You don't really see too many, and like I say, if you do, they tend to get shafted either out to either wing. Troy Parrott, I think we're still waiting for him to really blow and have a really good loan spell, and but I think every fan is expecting him to go out on loan, score 20 goals, and then come back into the team. It hasn't worked for him in that respect, even if he does score worldies away at AFC Kingston.
That's because he ain't here, so you can say it.
My MK hat on there. So yeah, I think we're still waiting for Troy to really show us what he's about. I think Vilis coming in he's an absolute size, by the way. He's an absolute unit. So I don't know if it's that kind of physical presence that he brings, because he's probably twice the size of Dane Scarlett in every way. So yeah, that physical presence coming in, looks quite mobile as well for his size, which is a good thing. Rashford, I might keep that one. So yeah, I think his physical presence in terms of that sort of old school number 9, back to goal, can bring others into play. But yeah, I think Scarlett might work in an Ange system, but like I say, it may not be as a number 9. I think it might be more for somebody like a Vilis to come in. Although, to be fair, Jamie Donnelly is absolutely tearing it apart at the minute for the under-21s. I know there's a massive difference between playing academy football and first team football, but it was nice to see him, on the bench on Saturday. And he might have even been given a chance, depending on the state of the game, as well. But yeah, I know he's making a lot of noise at youth level as well. So I think we got a crop of young strikers coming through. It's just a shame that we didn't have it a little bit earlier, when we had Harry, when all we needed was somebody of around 20, 21, just to be a little bit more patient, because you can see that pathway of like, right, my time will come. So just to provide that extra competition for places within the team, within the squad. But I think now we've got a clutch of about 5 that are all of a similar age coming through, which is nice to see. It's going to, give someone a massive headache one day, definitely.
100%. And I'm glad that you mentioned Jamie as well, because obviously, like you said, he has been tearing it up in the youth side. And again, I was happy to see his name on there. And I feel like with Ange, you will kind of see that progression, that natural filter, because now all of the teams below are playing Ange ball. I know they were before, but obviously it was very difficult in that kind of sense to then translate that when you've got Jose and Mourinho at the helm. And I'm guessing Joey's just jumped into he's read the title, the fact that Klopp's still crying. Yes, he is still currently a baby at the moment. But Wes, it seems like it's just me and you. So I'm going to pose the question to you. Do you want to keep chatting, or do you want to wrap up and watch the Champions League?
We'll keep going. Come on. Why not? Why not?
Go for it. Someone might pop in at some point. But again, just to remind everyone, if you are, I think it's because I've moved it back to 8. So I might change the time. But if you are a member and you do want to come and say your piece, I am going to try and do this every Wednesday from now on. So become a member. I'll be able to give you the link, and then you'll be able to jump on, and me and Wes will pose some questions to you. And now we'll try and think of another one, unless you've got a question, Wes.
What did you make of Decky on Saturday? Because I've seen a few things online whereby actually he's potentially another one that's going under the radar, and I think his influence on the team might be going unnoticed. So what did you make of the ginger from Sweden on Saturday?
I think since he's come back from international break, he's been a better player. I think at the start of the season, there was a lot of talk about it, saying he's not hitting that potential. He's not the same player we bought when we signed him that first season. And I think a lot of people are giving him a lot of stick. But I think you're right. I think now that he's back and he's playing out in that wide, I think he's got a lot more confidence, because I think he is slightly a confidence player. He annoyed me at times where he'd go to take on someone, then cut back and play it back. And it was just like, come on, you can take this player on. And I think we are slowly seeing that. So I wouldn't say he's gone unnoticed. I think people have just got very divided opinions against him. They either like him or they don't. And I think sometimes that precedence of what you think kind of overrules of what you actually see. And again, I suppose that's the same with me and certain players like Eric Dyer, I guess. So it's probably the same sort. Not comparing Decky to Dyer, but you kind of know what I see, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Vicario, how impressed have you been with this lovely Italian man?
I love him.
And his double save in particular in the first half, because I can imagine a certain Frenchman may not have produced a double save like that in the game. So how have you found? I think it's Guillermo Vicario.
Oh, you've definitely done your own work. Jesus, I would definitely butcher that. I think he's been excellent. I think his first game, the first time we saw him in like a couple of the pre-season friendlies, we were all saying, "Oh, I don't know about this guy," and I think he's proven a lot of people wrong. But I also think it's because we've now got Mickey van der Ven and Kuti in front of him, and I think during pre-season we didn't have that duo. And now, credit to me. I know we're not talking about Mickey van der Ven, but I bloody love him. But Vicario, I think, the double save he managed to do, the fact that I did say he gave me Gomez vibes, and he still does a little bit. I don't know whether it's because he's quite lanky and long, and Gomez had like big hands and stuff, and it kind of is the same kind of vibe. But he's so good with his feet. When someone closes him down, I am closing my eyes, but he manages to get rid of it in a calm way, and it's not let's hoof it up the pitch like Lloris did to practically no one. There's actually some sort of plan in his head. So no, I love it. I mean, what's your biggest thing you've seen from Vicario? Is it the double save, or is it just the fact how calm he is?
I just love the fact. Do you know what? He's fully Spurs. Like, he absolutely loves it. I was a bit probably in that category, if you like, of a bit unsure on him, especially the Brentford game. I was really, really unsure on him, and I was there like, nah. I kind of writ him off straight away. I was like, nah, not good enough. Not good enough. But credit to him. I think he's got his head down, worked really hard in training. And yeah, now it's a case of like, okay, somebody might go through one-on-one, but I have a little bit more confidence that actually he's going to produce a save. And I mean, that double save was just unbelievable. And the fact that both shots came at him really quickly and he almost had to react was fantastic. I think this was it the second one. Or was it the first one where he sort of parried it past the post? I look at Saka's goal in the North London derby at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last season, and similar type of position. Lloris chucks it in for Saka. I don't know if he felt sorry for him or whatever. Whereas Vicario pushes it away from danger, and I think that is probably the biggest thing as well, is that a lot of Vicario's saves more often than not are away from danger. Again, you look at North London derby, the save that he made when he's top-handed it, but it was away from danger. Whereas I think there's been times with Lloris where it would be straight back out into sort of a no-go zone. And I think, you know, the Newcastle game where we got absolutely obliterated, I think one of the first ones, Lloris just pushes it out, but it's straight into a Newcastle player, and then the next thing you know, it's a goal. But no, I've been impressed with Vicario. I think he's decent with the ball at his feet. Not brilliant, but I don't think he was up against much. I think he's decent with it. I think there's a little bit more potentially to come, but I don't know if me as a fan or as a coach have been a bit spoiled with the fact that I've had to watch Ederson and Alisson, who can just drop passes on an absolute sixpence for anybody. So I don't know, like I say, if I've been a little bit spoiled in that respect. So I think those two are definitely the standard for goalkeepers in the league. So it's a case of when you get somebody who's not at that level, it's like, well, they're not them. So, but no, like I say, he's had a big turnaround, and I love the fact that he loves being at Tottenham as well.
I think it's that image that's been doing the rounds of him just when I think it's when the goal goes or the final, he's just like this. And you're thinking, oh my word, what he's only been here a couple of months and he's already like that, which is amazing. I mean,
and even the Sheffield United game, he's pelted down the full length of the pitch just to get involved in the celebrations like an absolute madman.
I do love him, man. It's his facial expressions as well. I love it. I love watching him with his facial expressions. We've also got this as well, and obviously we don't like to compare, but obviously there was a lot of us, including me, who said let's go for Raya, and obviously Raya hasn't played well. Last night, was it last night? I can't remember what day it is. he didn't play amazing. And obviously Onana, I mean, the less said about Onana, the better, because he is having a stinker at the moment. So when you kind of compare those two, you're thinking, wow, we've escaped something here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't banging the drum for us to sign David Raya, I have to say, because for me as a goalkeeper, he was another one I wasn't overly convinced by. I didn't think he commanded his box very well. It was almost a case of, well, we're signing David Raya because he's good with the ball at his feet. I know it's quite high up on the priority list when it comes to requirements for a modern day goalkeeper. Being able to play with the ball at your feet is definitely up there, if not number one in some cases for certain football clubs. But yeah, for me, Raya wasn't really. I wasn't, banging the drum like, yeah, let's go sign him. Onana's the interesting one, because there's a decent goalkeeper in there, I feel, for Onana, and
Just trying to find him.
literally, I don't know what, but then again, I don't know what's happened with United in general, and I think he's starting to become a scapegoat because Ten Hag has nailed his hat on him, spent big money on him, and I think the fact that he basically disregarded De Gea to bring him in was the big one, because De Gea for a long time, I think at United, did really, really well, pulled off some really good saves at important times, player of the year for a good few years. But yeah, I think Ten Hag was strong and saying, no, you're not going to be my guy, and I'm going to bring this one in. But yeah, I think there's a lot more going on at United, and it's not down to Onana, but I think he's getting the brunt of it because he is the manager's man, and the manager speaking so highly of him, but he keeps, I wouldn't say letting him down, or he just keeps making silly errors when he doesn't necessarily need to. But I think he's still doing the right things in terms of, like, all right, slow passing to Casemiro. Anybody that knows, slow passes are so easy to intercept. And Galatasaray high press, nicked it. Casemiro's then absolutely channeled his inner Christian Romero and half somebody. But yeah, I don't think Onana is the problem in terms of this Man United team.
In terms of the whole grand scheme of things, I just think it sounds horrible, but it's quite funny to witness it. When, especially now that we have Vicario, it's like, oh my, it could have been a lot worse. But Wes, we do have a channel member waiting in the background. And it is the one and only Kyle. He's back. He wants to talk about Klopp tears. So Kyle, it's so good to have you, my friend. How are you tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm still buzzing from the weekend. Another test passed for a doggy, and yeah, great win. And cry more, Liverpool fans, but you ain't getting the game we played. The only game you're getting we played is the Champions League final. And yeah, that's what Jan Vertonghen wants we played. And I'm in. So I love the guy. I saw it on Twitter. The Spurs were put, if the game gets replayed, then see you in Madrid, Jurgen. So we played the Champions League final because we were robbed. It was not handball. Sissoko didn't hit his armpit, so didn't have a look properly. VR didn't intervene. So give us the rematch because Jan Vertonghen has said count me in. So I'm in. Everyone is in. So give us the rematch because we got to the final and Liverpool did, but someone should not be starting out as Harry Kane. It was Lucas that got us to the final. So big mistake from Poch, but it's what we want. And Jan is going to try and get in contact with Toby, who fortunately missed a penalty for Royal Antwerp earlier in the Champions League. So sorry to hear that, mate. But yeah, give us the rematch.
We're all here for it, Carl. I think that's the thing. I think everybody's. I don't want to say everybody. I think it's just Liverpool fans are very wound up. And Wes said earlier the fact that they could, if that was on us, I'd be annoyed. But I don't think there'd be as much noise. Do you think, Carl? Do you think if it was any other team in the Premier League, there wouldn't be this much of a fuss, if that makes sense?
True that. But yeah, the thing is, we won. They came out and they won, but yeah, they can quite what they want. But as I said, we got the 3 points, and this Spurs fan is saying that he's called for the game to be replayed. Who is this guy? Like, if it's a woman or something, then clearly you don't know anything about Tottenham. It's not getting replayed. We got the 3 points. We finally ended that curse. Big Ange has ended it. Another curse, and so we're still unbeaten. And yeah, in 90 minutes, I heard we're still unbeaten. Like, yeah, we're not unbeaten in actually, but we are. Yeah, we lost to Fulham. Who gives a damn? I don't. But we're still in the FA Cup, so that's and with the double's still on. So we're second, and I'm still buzzing from the win. And Poro thought he scored, but no, it was Matip, and I wonder what he's going through. So, but yeah, you can quote all you want. Liverpool fans, Brian Degger used it. Liverpool, not Liverpool, it's Liverpool. So that's the new name. And I'm still buzzing from the game. I was in a pub watching it, and Richarlison got the assist, and so thought he had a good game. Oh, 2-0 Newcastle.
And you're giving us score updates, Carl, man. What more could we want? Like, I love it. Carl, I want to bring Wes in because I want Wes to ask you a question. So Wes, go for it, my friend.
Yeah, Kyle, how did you find the Jota incident? Obviously with the 2 yellow cards. Reason I'm asking that is because when I was in the ground watching, especially the first one, it did look like Jota had tripped your doggy. Having looked at it back, it appears that your doggy has dived. So yeah, what did you make of those 2 incidences, and can you possibly see why Liverpool fans have got a little bit of a grievance over that as well?
Well, the thing is, Jota actually touched him. I saw it, and the referee gave him a yellow card. Then I think he got what, a doggy again or something. I don't know. He got Basuma probably, but yeah, should have been sent off at Anfield earlier this year in April. But yeah, we played a game then as well at Anfield. We play it, and Klopp said about why Mason worry about other things. Are you mad? Worry about your team, mate. Worry about your team. You got done over, and you've now lost twice. But Wembley and the new stadium, the old White Hart Lane, Klopp never won there. Only Brendan Rodgers has, and he won 2 seasons in a row. But yeah, Klopp's now lost twice, and so wait till we go to Anfield on the 4th of May. So we're gonna win there, and then we don't want them taking the 3 points there because we're gonna go there and win. And so yeah, Jota actually touched the doggy because I saw it, and so yeah, cry more, Klopp. Worry about your team, blood, not ours. It's over. You got done over, so it ain't getting replayed. The only game you're getting replayed is the Champions League final, mate, which Jan wants replayed, and I agree. So big up to Jan Vertonghen and get it replayed. And Liverpool fans said on Twitter that they'll win again because they've got Origi. Like, they don't, but he's a daddy of Tottenham. Who cares about that Belgian? I don't, because he got lucky because our defence didn't stop him scoring. And Vicario's in goal. He would not have let them 2 goals in, but a penalty. Lloris already saved a few. That was Leicester and Arsenal at Wembley in the Prem, but couldn't stop Salah. Like, we need someone that can save penalties. Lloris has done a few, as I said, but Vicario, I think, would have stopped it, but Salah had other plans. So yeah, give us the Champions League, man, because it's something we want, and we could win it before them lot who were playing City at the weekend would. And apparently they said they were robbed of the 2006 Champions League, but just deal with it. You lost to Barcelona, and you ain't getting that replayed. We want the Champions League final replayed. You don't. So worry about your stuff. And this is Tottenham, man, and I want it replayed because I was in a pub watching it, and I'm still annoyed about it. Don't know who the referee was. Don't know what his name is, but if it's the one that robbed us against Sporting Lisbon, then he needs to be sacked. Because I just watched the highlights of it, and it actually came off the Sporting Lisbon's player arm, not Kane. And the ref said, offside. No, it wasn't. Are you dumb? Højbjerg didn't shake his hand. I love. So Højbjerg did not shake his hand. I love the guy. And he's not happy. He didn't even celebrate on Saturday. He just went down a tunnel. Yeah, he's not been getting game time, but like Ange makes the decision, not him, and yeah, he wants to play. Like Solomon's going to be out for 2 to 3 months. Gutted for that, he's been brilliant, and Madders hasn't been injured, so good. And I saw Son's reaction; he may have suffered a groin injury, but that's not too serious, so he'll definitely play Saturday. So yeah, we got more games to come, and then international break, and then we got other games after that. So yeah, still buzzing and cry more, Liverpool fans, because as I said, you ain't getting the game replayed. It's not gonna happen.
I
So
love it, Carl.
yeah,
Honestly,
cry more, man.
I'm
Klopp,
gonna get you to record "Cry More" and then I'll just play it at the end of every video. Because I love it.
yeah,
But you're right, Carl, with your points about Højbjerg as well. The fact that obviously not that he's not feeding into the big Ange vibes at the moment, but it's almost like he feels like he's isolated out when everybody else is performing so well. But sadly, that's the cruelty of football. But Carl, I want to say a big thank you for you coming on. Like I said, we're going to kind of do this show every Wednesday, so make sure you're about. Carl, where can you tell everyone where they can find you when you have your opinions and things?
you can find me on Twitter, Kyle Realt on TV, as I said, and Instagram, probably the same name, but I've still got it as the other one. So find me on Twitter, Kyle Realt Tottenham TV, and that's my name. So that's where you can find me. And I want to say get well soon to Ben Real Tottenham TV. He's still positive for COVID, so wishing him a speedy recovery. And hopefully I'll see him back on Real Tottenham TV, as I always am normally on there to preview every Premier League game. So get well soon, Ben, and I'll hopefully see you soon at the Tottenham Chelsea game, 6th of November, Monday Night Football. I'm going to try and go there. So yeah, big derby coming up at Fulham after Luton. So games to focus on before we can, like, we are in a title race. Henry White even mentioned it. But the good news is United lost last night and Arsenal lost. So yeah, what a great week it's been. But a bit, you don't want to see a player getting injured like Saka, because he's probably the best right wing in the league. But who can replace him for the big game Sunday? But we'll find out. So great win, on to Luton and yeah, Fulham and that. So 5 games, we're taking all 5 wins, and we'll be top league before Christmas. So I'll happily take that. But we're going to win the double, people. I don't care what anyone says. Double incoming, and I'll be at the front of that parade. So I'll see you all soon. And as always, Levy out, Daigle in.
Love it, Carl. Thank you so much again, my friend. See you later.
See
See
ya.
you, Kyle.
Right.
Wow, I love Carl, man. We just need to have him on for his little snippets, man. For his,
Energy.
honestly,
Love
love him. So much energy. Right. We also have a new member joining us as well.
We like new members.
Now, he may be a Chelsea fan, but it'd be nice to see his thoughts on the Tottenham kind of side of things. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Nippon in. Hello, my friends. How are you?
I have interviewed you at White Hart Lane before.
You did many moons ago. I
I
think that was for the
can't hear
protest.
you for some reason. The audio's gone. I'll rejoin on my phone.
You want to rejoin on your phone? Okay.
1 second.
I'll take you out and you can come back in a minute. Mate, this live show business, man, I'm not used to it.
Wait, was that live you say? What? What's going on here?
He'll be joining us in a minute, man. So it'd be interesting to see his kind of reaction on Ange Ball, being a Chelsea fan.
No, Champions League final being replayed. I don't know if I can stomach that again, because I had to go via coach to Madrid and it took me 30 hours to get there.
I remember you saying.
So yeah, it was. But listen, to be fair, I have said I would do it all again tomorrow, but to have like 4 days off might be a bit tricky with work and everything. Now I could get away with it before, whereas now it's a little bit trickier.
I was going to say, yeah, maybe let's not relive another 30-hour trip to Madrid. That would not be fun. But Yeah, honestly, the Liverpool talk, man, it's interesting times to say the least. But it is what it is, I guess. But while we wait for Nip on, I want to say thank you to everybody that's tuning in tonight. Like I said, this is going to be a regular occurrence. Wes is going to be my start co-host for as long as he wants to be. On a Wednesday. There you go, upgraded live. Before we get Nip on in a minute, James has asked for our score predictions for Saturday. So Wes, you can go ahead and answer it first.
Oh, here we go. Right. Something tells, as I said earlier, something tells me 1-0 Luton. 89th minute Colton Morris winner. But then also I have a feeling that we could also win 3-0 for some reason. So I'm going to go with either 1-0 Luton or 3-0 Tottenham. I can't pick one, so don't ask me to pick one, but those are my two that I'm going to go for.
I was going to say, definitely go for the win first rather than the loss. I think I'm going to go for, I'm going to say 3-1 because I still think we're letting a goal. But I'm going to go with 3-1, I think. I don't know who's going to score them. But hopefully, like you say, Sonny hasn't got a big, bad issue with his groin and he's all right. Because, yeah, I won't want that. James says, I'm at work. I can't even watch it. Oh, man. Just leave your phone on, like, on the side. And then it'll be fine. I am going to do a watch along because Jason's left me to go watch the game in person, which I'm not very happy about. So we'll be doing a live watch along because I'll be home on my own. So tune in for that one on Saturday. But yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be like we said, not a 1-0 loss, Wes. I don't want that.
Listen, I don't either because I may have to listen. I was close to going into hibernation last season because Arsenal were flying. And I'm going, I cannot stomach them winning the league. I was close to emigrating to Australia, right? So if we lose to Luton, I may have to switch my phone off for about a week, 2 weeks. No. Because, I'm going to get absolutely battered from everybody. Like, people that don't even follow football are going to be coming out the woodwork to give me grief if we lose to Luton. So,
that would not be good. I do not envy that on anyone. Nippon is back. He's here. He's got his phone. Way, he's back. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you now. For some reason, my laptop always seems to fuck up when it comes to. I don't know if you restricted swear words on this.
You're fine.
You're not on Big Brother, Nippon. It's fun.
Yeah, my StreamYard on my laptop is always a hit and miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, I want to say, look, you know me, Hollie. I've interviewed you outside the new White Hart Lane Stadium at the protest. You know, for some reason, I don't know why our fan base hate you and West Ham in particular that much. For me, your two clubs are the clubs I hate the least when it comes to
we'll take that.
London. My most hated clubs in general are Celtic, Arsenal, and Man United. I think you saw my feelings on that in the private chat.
Yeah, I did see that you said naughty word Woolwich, so we'll take that.
Yeah. Anyway, what I wanted to say, look, if the game against Liverpool actually does get replayed, which it won't, it's just making a mockery of the whole Premier League, in my opinion. And that's not me speaking as a fan of a particular club. That's just me speaking as a football fan in general.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're right. I think that the thing that if it getting replayed, like you said, makes a mockery of it, because then future matches going forward, people can say, oh, let's have a rematch because this happened. So I think you're right. I mean, I kind of want to, before I get Wes to ask you a question, I kind of want to ask you, what's your kind of thoughts at the moment on Spurs? Obviously, being a Chelsea fan, I know you said you don't mind us, but what
honestly, I couldn't. The two teams in London our fans care the most about for some reason are West Ham and Tottenham. And I'll be real, I couldn't care less about either of your teams. Look, you two are nice people, but I hate there are other teams in London I hate more than you.
I'll take it. But what do you make of Ange coming into Spurs? You must have seen what he's been doing.
It's like a certain Argentine all over again, but in Greco-Australian form.
Love that. I mean, Wes, have you got a question for Nippon?
Nippon, obviously a lot of change over at the bridge recently, and form has been really, really mixed. Are you on the side of, look, there's been too much change, we just need to give it a bit of time, or is it a case of Poch is potentially struggling a little bit here, and he either needs a little bit of help or something needs to change?
You and Hollie should know this most of all. I mean, he had a bad first season with you guys as well.
Yeah.
And think about it. Most great managers had bad first seasons. Alex Ferguson almost got sacked if he hadn't won the FA Cup back in '86. Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola went trophyless in their first season. So you just have to give managers time, in my opinion.
Even with the amount of money he spent as well, do you think that's
Even that, like it's shown with Chelsea and QPR down the road, money doesn't always buy you success. And Forest.
No, I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, as Spurs fans, we don't particularly like Poch at the moment, so we're going to have that biased notion against Chelsea.
I have a question for you. I've got mixed answers from Tottenham supporters. Who's the bigger Judas?
There's only one.
Campbell.
Only one, and I will never mention that guy's name because he broke my heart. He genuinely broke my heart. Put it this right. Quick story. My dad.
Sorry for mentioning that name. I just wanted to ask you a question.
This is a sore one because my dad managed to get me a signed photo of him, and I was on at him for ages to get it. He finally got it, and I came home from school one day and saw him at their training ground shaking hands with a manager, and I was fuming. I literally smashed the frame. I screwed up the picture. It was in the bin. My dad's come home from work asking my mum what on earth has happened, and all I could say to my dad was, he's gone, Dad, he's down the road. And he's going, what do you mean? I said, Dad, he's gone, he's down the road. He's like, what are you on about? And
is your dad a Spurs supporter as well?
Yeah. He's the reason I have suffered for 28 years of my life.
Why didn't you just make your own decision?
I woke up and I was a Spurs fan. It was either I was a Spurs fan or I was kipping in the shed. So yeah, I quite like.
When I have children, they're gonna have. I don't know about you two, but when I have children, they'll say you can. I'll say you can support anyone apart from Woolwich.
That's going to be in our household as well. I mean, they are going to be Spurs regardless. They won't have a choice, but it won't be them either down the road. But Nippon, I'm going to wrap the show up because obviously I want to watch the last bit of the Newcastle game.
Of course, did you see my my comment? I need to speak to both of you after.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's cool.
Okay.
But we're gonna wrap it up now. But I want to say a big thanks to you for coming on. Obviously, being a Chelsea fan as well, I know you don't mind us, but sometimes Spurs fans.
Of course,
don't
I
like
understand.
Fans, so.
But what brings us? But every 2 years we do break our rivalry to come together for England.
That is true. That's the same with me. As soon as I got an England shirt on, that's fine. It's all good. But it's been great to have you on, my friend. Where can everybody find you doing your thing?
NS Sports TV. I have a podcast coming at 10:30 p.m. about all football. So if you guys want to join, I can send you the link.
I might be asleep at that time, but thank you for the invite. I'm not very much a night owl anymore.
No.
Well, my shift pattern really is lopsided. You know, I work as a chef, so sometimes they put me on lunch service, which is 10 till 6. Sometimes they put me on evenings, which is 2 till 10.
Oh,
He's gone.
He's dilly daddled.
Oh,
No, that was a friend of mine. Yeah. Disadvantages of streaming from my phone. Yeah, you can find me on NS Sports TV where I do all football content. You can also find me on Twitter, the Nippon Sharma, where you can, for all inquiries to be on my shows or whatever. And you can also find me on Instagram at Nippon Reviews Lifestyle and Nippon Reviews, and Nippon with 4 I's and 3 U's.
Nice.
You can also find me on my non-football related channel where I do reviews on restaurants and flights and everything at the British Lifestyle Blogger.
Nice. Very, very busy, Nippon. Make sure that you go and check out Nippon's stuff. Again, he is a channel member, so thank you very much. I'm going to let you go now, my friend. I'm sure we'll speak soon.
I need to get you on for when we face each other on my channel, by the way, you and Wes.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. We'll
see
chat.
you soon.
We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
See you later, Ben.
It's been a roller coaster of a show, Wes, isn't it? Wow, what a Wednesday this is, man. But
isn't it?
it is good. I want to say thank you to everybody that's tuned in for this. Like I say, if you want to be a channel member, you want to come on, say your bit like the guys have done today. I don't know if we're going to change it back to 7 or keep it at 8. We'll see how it goes next week, but it will be every Wednesday from now on. Wes, I want to say thank you again for your host. I know it was a bit of a longer, more interviewy kind of style to start with. That's fine. But I appreciate it, my friend. Where can everybody find you?
Well, I feel like I've been upstaged now by Nippon. He had a longer outro than me, which is never ever usually the case. Whenever I appear on anybody's show, I usually have the longest outro, but I'll do my best. Anyway, Twitter at Wezo10, unofficial Mr. Dembele fan account. Just tend to retweet the fact that I'm on your show, to be fair, because if I get involved in Twitter debates and arguments, I'll lose my head, to be honest. So yeah, like I say, usually tweeting about that great man there, the greatest of all time, Moussa Dembele. Instagram Wezo32, usually at a Spurs game somewhere. Unfortunately, as I said earlier, I'm not at Luton away on Saturday. Absolutely killing me, that one. But yeah, tend to go as often as I can. And then I've run my own football coaching business in Milton Keynes. So it's Kickoff Football Academy or Kofa MK across your social media channels for that. But yeah, loving the fact I've been upgraded to co-host every Wednesday. Think the 7 o'clock slot might be better so we don't have to miss out on any CL football because we are starved of it now.
I think you're right, and that means that it also means that on a Wednesday it means I won't have to see Jay at all, which is actually quite good. And he's probably going to watch his back and clip it. But yeah, maybe 7 p.m. going forward is probably the best thing. So we'll definitely keep that in. And like I say, thank you to everybody that's tuned in today. This show's kind of more relaxed, and it's quite nice to get members on to give their opinions. But if you guys in the chat, you don't necessarily want to become a member, but you still want to get involved, I will make sure on this show that we always get up and we'll try and talk about it. Because like you saw at the start of the show, sometimes it's just me and Wes going on a little bit about things. So it's quite nice to get your kind of thoughts on different aspects as well. But that's
Micah Richards and Jamie Carragher show.
In it, man. Might as well. But no, it's been a good laugh again. It's been good to dissect, especially with the controversy this week. We'll be back again. I'm going to be doing a live watch along on Saturday. I think I'm going to start that at 12:15, and then Monday, Hollie SPURS Live is back, and then we're back same place at 7 p.m. next Wednesday with Wes to get members on and everybody's thoughts and feelings. And until next time, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.